says, Shimmy says, Shimmy, Shimmy, Shimmy says, ask me almost anything.
Hey everyone, it's me, Alan Shimmo, and you're watching another episode of Shimmy Says here on LinkedIn Live. I got a double-barreled LinkedIn Shimmy Says for you today because I had two things I wanted to talk about. I want to lead off today talking about something near and dear to me as a person who's been involved in the security community, cybersecurity community, for 25 plus years, 30 years. There was quite a kerfuffle in the community this week when it came out that the future of the CVE database program was in danger. For those of you who don't know, the CVE database has been maintained for as long as it's been around from the good folks at MITRE. MITRE. MITRE is sort of a quasi-governmental, public-private partnership kind of company that does a lot of work around the government. They usually work closely with NIST, among others. But they've maintained the CVE since, as I said, since there's been a CVE. The CVE is where every known vulnerability discovered by researchers around the world is given a specific identifying number and the information, the relevant information for that vulnerability. What is the vulnerability, how to detect it, how to remediate it, how to protect it, who discovered it, what systems are susceptible to it. The important thing about it is that the whole world, almost the whole world in cybersecurity depends on that CVE database to identify and then, scan for and manage vulnerabilities. Now, there are a lot of, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people who have problems with the CVE database. Are we giving vulnerabilities too high, what we call a CVSS score, too high a criticality score? Is it maintained correctly? Is the whole notion of CVEs even viable? Because you have to look at it, every vulnerability in the environment in which it exists. Is it accessible? Is it exploitable, et cetera, et cetera? But nevertheless, almost the entire vulnerability management system and industry has coalesced around CVEs now for 15 or 20 years, 20 years easily. And we got a letter, although there was a letter published from the president or head of MITRE, that their contract with the government to maintain the CVE database expires as of April 16th, and that as of April 15th, there was no offer or contract extension forthcoming, and that therefore on April 16th, MITRE would have to cease maintaining the CVE database, take it down, and probably lay off something like in the area of 400 people who work on this. This sent the security community into an uproar. So many good people who I know, Brian Krebs and Dave Lewis, and I can't even, just my LinkedIn feed was full of it, spoke out what a disaster this could be. Again, if you don't know, what happens is the CVE, which is maintained by MITRE, is an upstream for something else called the National Vulnerability Database, the NVDB. And that's maintained by NIST. And quite frankly, you know what, over the last couple of years, I guess due to budget constraints and other issues, there's been a lot of complaints about how responsive NIST is in maintaining the National Vulnerability Database, to the point where a lot of people are really upset and don't find it as useful as it was. CVE, on the other hand, wasn't. The MITRE folks, did a decent job with it. Anyway, so it looked like the CVE was going to go kaput as of April 16th. literally at the 11th hour. I don't know where that term 11th hour comes from, but literally at the 11th hour, the good folks at 𝘲𝗍𝗃, which, 𝘲𝗍𝗃, the people behind Chris Krebs, who's being persecuted now for doing his job back when the first Trump administration, the folks who have been responsible for really facilitating for the first time in my memory a great public-private partnership to address cybersecurity. 𝘲𝗍𝗃 has come through and funded the CVE program for at least the next 11 months. And that's great. Kudos to 𝘲𝗍𝗃. Thank you to 𝘲𝗍𝗃 for doing it. I don't know if MITRE will be able to get back the people who are being laid off or what have you, but some damage has been done, but at least CVE itself is going to be up there for 11 months. At the same time, though, it was announced that a new group is formed called the CVE Foundation. It's a private, and there might be some public entities involved, but private foundation that's going to undertake to perhaps either take over the existing CVE database or start a shadow and then replace it at some point. My initial thought on that was, well, redundant. I don't know if I trust it. Is it better to have the government doing it? But on further reflection with what goes on in our government today, I'm going to stand up and say the CVE Foundation is the way to go. The same way the Linux Foundation and the Eclipse Foundation and the Apache Foundation have done amazing jobs in bringing open source software to the very heights that it is today. I believe a not-for-profit foundation that has a partnership and is funded by industry and others is a better option to maintain this critical asset for the security industry, because quite frankly, we cannot trust the U.S. government to do this anymore. There's already talk of 𝘲𝗍𝗃's budget being cut drastically. There's already talk of all of these agencies that DOGE is going in. When they come out of it, the security at them is gutted. We can't afford an asset like CVE to be gutted. We can't afford CVE to become a political football between the last administration, the next administration, the present administration, and our cybersecurity posture hangs in the balance. This isn't a football. This is an international asset that security folks around the world rely on. And if the government can't do this reliably, someone else has to step up. So, you know what? I'm on here telling you I am behind this CVE Foundation. I want to go check out who's behind it. I'm going to go see if we can become part of it or help in any way. And I urge you, all my security friends out there, to go do the same thing. It's a sad state of affairs, but these kinds of critical resources, we just can't trust to politics. We can't trust to a government that doesn't seem to care about it. We need better, and we can do better. That's my first episode for Shimmy Says today. Stay tuned. In about, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, I'm going to be back with part 2.
Shimmy says, shimmy says, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy says, ask me almost anything.
Hey everyone, it's Shimmy, and I'm back for part 2, like if you didn't have enough. I wanted to talk about something else today. It's not as important maybe to you as my last conversation here regarding the CVE database, but it's an important thing to me, and it's an important thing to all of my friends out here who work for PR agencies, marketing agencies, Marcom agencies, as well as those of us in the media. And that is this. both media companies and communications agencies need to learn to dance to a new rhythm. I wrote an article. It should be, and I posted it here on LinkedIn rather than any of our TechStrong sites, because I want it to be more of an industry-wide thing, not just TechStrong. But the article link should show up in the comments here on our LinkedIn Live, and we'll attach it to everything else where we play these videos. The article is something like, media and agencies learning to dance to a new rhythm. The idea here is the world has changed. And those of us in media know this, and I think those of us in the agencies know this as well. When I first got involved in media, probably 12, 15 years ago, the role of a PR agency, and they were called PR agencies, was very clear. They were engaged by their customers to get coverage for their customers. It was usually earned media, as it was called. They would pitch stories, ideas, byline articles, what have you. And we in the media would then pick which stories kind of made sense for our audience and we had time and room for. And there was this relationship where you got to know who the agencies were. They knew who they'd reach out to get placement for their clients. And make no mistakes, they charged their clients back then anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000 a month for getting them this exposure. Tier 1 media, trade media, etc. Well, funny things have happened. Today, clients don't want just media placement. They want real impact. They want measurable impact. They want lead generation. They want marketing, full-fledged marketing. So many PR agencies have turned into full-on marketing agencies or comm agencies, if you will, communication agencies. And they want more than just, let me give you this story under embargo and let me know if you want to run with it. They need more. Their customers are demanding more. And so the very nature of these agencies have changed. On the other hand, on the other side of the street, media has changed. A lot of media companies, their whole business model was founded on, getting a lot of views, running a lot of banners, and that's how they made money, right? From readership, if you will. At TechStrong, quite frankly, we found that tech people don't like clicking on banners, so we've never, put a lot of our stock into banners, but we do sell the fact that we have a community, that we talk to a specific audience, whether it's cybersecurity or DevOps, cloud native, platform engineering, AI, or what have you. And we do events, learning events like webinars and our virtual events. We do custom content. We do content distribution as well as creation. But also, as being a real media company, we report the news. Our job is, at the end of the day, is to give the people who consume our content what they need to succeed in their tech role. That's us here at TechStrong. However, the world's different, as I said. In order for us to fulfill that mission, we have to make enough money to keep the lights on. And that means we have to do more things that are sponsored, more things that are revenue generating. We don't make any money, per se, from banner ads or that type of thing. If you're not in media in an agency and watching this, you probably get more emails and contacts from media companies because they're trying to bring you in knowing who you are in order to monetize their business model. Media companies can't afford to just do earned placements anymore, not unless those placements are somehow really newsworthy and not just a way of marketing the agency's clients. And so agencies reach out to me. I'm inundated with pitches every day. 98% of them I can't help with, I can't do anything with because I've got to do things that are going to keep the lights on here. And agencies have to do things that are going to keep their lights on. So increasingly, we're learning to do different dance moves, as I call it, moving to a different rhythm. We are undertaking content creation and distribution that results in better metrics, better information that the agency can pass along to their customer. In order for this to succeed, though, you have to have a really tight, trusting partnership between the agency and the media outlet. And that's something that I've been trying to work on here at TechStrong. And also, as part of Futurum and our analyst team and research team, advisory and intelligence portal, we've been trying to also, because we recognize that there is a unique relationship between agencies and media. And the better we work together, the better results we can deliver to our mutual clients. And so I've been working with friends like Michelle Schaefer at Merit, and of course my good friend Jennifer Leggio at W2, and Wilson Craig and his wife, and Mindshare, and many other agencies that I've had the chance to meet and get to know over the years. But that is the future of this industry. Agencies and media, we need to dance a different dance. It doesn't make a difference who leads. It's whether we're in rhythm. And so I'm calling on my agency friends out there. If you want to work with TechStrong, if you want to work with Futurum, reach out to me personally. Reach out to us. And let's figure out how we make beautiful music together in this new age that demands that we work better, closer, tighter than we ever have before. It's not an adversarial position. We're not looking to get money from everything you do. We understand what the agency's mission is and what the pressures what pressures you're under. We want you to understand the pressure we're under. Let's work together to make it happen. So check out that article I wrote. If you're interested, reach out to me here on LinkedIn even. Let's talk about ways we can do more together. Until next week, though, guys, that's the end of this episode, this double barrel episode of Shimmy Says. If you're celebrating this weekend, maybe Easter or still Passover or just spring, enjoy your celebration. I'll be at RSA in just maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm real excited. If you're at RSA, come by and say hello. We have a great event on Monday all day, our 10th annual DevSecOps event, which will be AI and cyber and app dev. And then I'll be at Broadcast Alley in Moscone West all week, so check it out there. But for now, this is Alan Schimmel. Shimmy Says. Have a great day, everyone.
Shimmy says, shimmy says, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy says, ask me almost anything.